at it again, and I don't really watch too many of these White House press briefings or whatever with KJP or Karine Jean-Pierre, whose name I actually like, right? And you know, I've admitted to that. I like the name, love the name, Karine Jean-Pierre. You know, sounds fancy, sounds nice, rolls off the tongue very smoothly. But as we all know, she is not the greatest at her job. And, you know, part of me feels bad for her because technically her job is kind of to lie for Joe in this terrible administration. Okay, which, I mean, she's honestly kind of bad at, but then also it's just like, man, that sucks as a job. Like, you constantly have to make up excuses for people. But one of the people that I do enjoy watching from time to time is Mr. Peter Doocy. If you don't know who Peter Doocy is, sit back and relax, because you are about to have a good time today with this one. We got Peter Doocy versus Karine Jean-Pierre in this one today. But before we hop into it, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. All right, join the family. And make sure you guys are following me on social media. Those links are down below in the description box. My Discord server. All right, make sure you guys join the Discord server. It should be the first link down below. It's basically like a glorified chat room. It's totally free to join. My Twitter, my Instagram, my Truth Social, all of those links are in the description box below. And with that being said, actually, before we hop into the video, please be aware the scammer is still in my comment section. I was reading through your comments yesterday, and a message from the scammer popped up, and actually they've made it look pretty real as far as like making their name look like mine. So please be careful. Anybody that message or, you know, comments under your post and it looks like me, I'm not going to tell you to message me on WhatsApp or Telegram or call me or send me some money. Like, that isn't me. So if you see that, please make sure that person is aware that is a scammer. I don't want to see anybody get scammed, and unfortunately YouTube still hasn't fixed the issue. I try to police it as much as I possibly can, but of course some comments slip through the cracks. I just wanted to make sure that I reiterated that today. Anyway, let's dive in.
Thank you, Karine. Kevin McCarthy says that he invited President Biden down to the border. How does the president RSVP?
He ain't going.
We know the president's never been down to the border. The possible next speaker says that he wants him to go with him, so is he going to?
For those that don't know, this is Peter Doocy, and he is literally the only person that ever asked any tough questions, any real questions, any questions of substance that aren't just, you know, lobs to Karine Jean-Pierre that she could just knock out of the park, right? Is Joe going to go to the border? Kevin just invited, you know, like legitimate questions. And we know the true answer. But let's see what Karine Jean-Pierre says.
So look, he's been there. He's been to the border.
Lie.
And since he took office,
When did he go to the border?
since he took office, the President Biden has been taking action to fix our immigration system and secure our border. And that's why on day one he put forward an immigration reform, a piece of legislation to deal with what is currently happening at the border. But you know that we're not seeing that from Republicans. We're not seeing a willingness to work with us on you know, fixing a situation that's been around for decades now. Instead, they're doing political stunts. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to take care of the situation. But in the meantime, you know, the president has secured record levels of funding for the Department of Homeland Security. We have over 23,000 agents working to secure the border. We've taken thousands of smugglers off the streets, and we're cutting down on asylum processing times, and a number of individuals arriving unlawfully from northern Central America and Venezuela is coming down significantly because of the actions that the president...
Because the ones that wanted to leave are already here. And plus, they blocked Venezuelan immigrants, and we talked about that in the previous video. They tried to blame it on something else, but we all know why they blocked Venezuelan immigrants. It's because they know what this administration is doing, because they're leaving. what this a similar situation to where what this administration, golly, I can't talk. This administration is doing. They're leaving a similar situation. They've seen the playbook already. So they're like, no, you Venezuelans, nah. Stay your behind at home. Because we need to get this done here. And we don't need y'all calling it out. Oh, man. I love how she tried to point at Republicans. See the Republicans, they want to play these political games. Oh, well, and one of the things, and we're going to jump back into the video, one of the things that I've realized is that Democrats try to blame Republicans for what Democrats actually do. Have y'all realized that? Like, look, it's Republicans playing the games. What? No. Y'all play the game. Look. It's Republicans who want to destroy democracy. What? No, it's you. It's you that hates freedom of speech. It's you that hates the way things are run. It's you that wants to have a central banking system. It's you that wants all this power and control. It's not us. Goodness gracious. Anyway, let's continue on.
Central America and Venezuela is coming down significantly because of the actions that the president has taken.
Because they're already here.
On another subject, when are you guys going to delete the White House Twitter account?
Why would we do that?
Well, you're saying that you're keeping an eye on Twitter because it might not be a suitable platform, so why use it?
Look, I want to be very clear here. The president has always said, and he has been very, very clear in his belief that it is important of social media platforms to continue to take steps to reduce hate speech and misinformation. And will continue to say that. But media platforms make independent choices about their information that they present. And so, look, I don't have anything to share on any policy or any changes that we will be making. We have multiple platforms, as you know, that we utilize to communicate with the American people.
When you say that you're going to be monitoring some of the speech on there, if you see something that you don't like, would you try to shut Twitter down?
So look, when you talk about monitoring, it is, I hate to break it to you, Peter, just like everybody else, we very much monitor the news. We pay close attention to everything that you all are reporting, and Twitter's in the news a lot. And so that's what we're paying attention to. We're paying attention to what is in the news and what is being reported on the misinformation that's out there. Let's not forget there's groups like NAACP, the Anti-Defamation League, and the public health leaders have been very vocal about their concerns as well. So,
for what? That's what I would love to ask folks. What are you concerned about? Because the same thing that somebody could say on Twitter, for example, somebody could, call me the N-word with the hard R on Twitter. Sure. Boo-hoo. They can do the same thing in person. So what's the difference? What's the difference? Can you stop a person from saying it to you in person? No. So why are you trying to stop it online? And they make it seem like whenever a black person or a person of color hops on Twitter, they're just bombarded with, N-word. It's just hate speech, just all over the place. It's just rampant. It's just a cesspool of hate speech. I have yet to see anybody say anything crazy on Twitter. Yet to see it. Now, is that to say that there aren't any ignorant folks who will say something ignorant on Twitter? No, of course they will. It's the same thing in person. Some people just are ignorant and will say something ignorant. It's no different. But you know the real reason why? It's because they use Twitter to control people's minds. Twitter is their main platform. How they get information out and stop information from getting out by labeling it misinformation and disinformation. These words that mean absolutely fucking nothing. I'm absolutely disgusted by their use of these words because we found out, it's been proven things that they have called misinformation has been a lie, a blatant lie. Look at Hunter's laptop story, for example. That was misinformation, Russian propaganda at one point in time. Oh, turns out, well, I'll be darned. It's actually true the whole time, and you knew it. You had the darn laptop yourself. You knew it was the truth, but you called it a lie and labeled people who called it out conspiracy theorists. So no, we don't believe a darn thing you're saying, and they feel their grasp, their hold on, control is slipping away because Elon has bought Twitter, and they're like, no, we want to hold on. We must come up with something to end Twitter. Try as they must. I encourage Elon to make his own phone. I heard that T-Mobile in the coming years will be able to connect to, I believe it's Starlink, the satellite that Elon has, floating around the atmosphere, and information will be able to be sent out that way as well. I love the fact that we can get more information out without being fact checked, which is fake any darn way. We know these fact checkers are left-wing activists. I mean, it's obvious. This isn't like a conspiracy it's not a conspiracy theory. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I based what I say in truth. It's fact. Just read all of these fact check, little excerpts underneath some of these posts, and it's like every single one is against a right-leaning talking point or idea. You never really see them on left-wing posts. But anyway, we can save that discussion for another day. Let's jump back into this video.
Yes,
I'm sorry for the long-winded response.
Reading what you all are writing and looking at what you all are reporting about the misinformation that is out there. But, I would hope that all Americans, including social media companies, civil rights organizations I just laid out, including Fox as well, will agree that we need to, no, we don't agree. Call out hate speech and misinformation.
We don't agree because she would call disagreeing as hate speech. She would call simple facts as hate speech. She would call the laptop misinformation. So no, we do not agree at all, not even a little bit. Sheesh Louise, I'm just so absolutely disgusted by this whole thing, and the fact that they're actually fooling people to think that they want good for them. The fact that they're actually getting people to believe that is just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. They've gone to, I saw actually I reposted it. I reposted a tweet from, or with Andrew Tate, who I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about. Recently, a guy that was actually banned off of basically everything, and recently came back onto Twitter. But I reposted something that he was talking about, and I think it really relates to, what I was kind of speaking on, and I'll end it with this. But he was talking about how the world in the U.S. was based on freedom. Freedom, 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 right? That's all they kept throwing in a phrase. Freedom, 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 freedom. And then once people really, it was somewhat of an illusion. But then once people really started to get actual freedom, once the internet was invented, once cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, was invented and people didn't need to go through a bank, we could make transactions without the government necessarily involved in what we were doing with the internet. We could talk to people across the internet without having to go to people's houses and travel. We could get information to someone in the blink of an eye, right? When you have situations like Twitter being open to free speech and people aren't being banned from all of this stuff, when you have a guy like Uncle Trump who was elected, who wasn't a bought and paid for politician by the establishment, they said, "Oh, no. We are losing absolute control of this whole situation. We must stop this." And so the agenda switched from being free or having freedom to having safety. Notice how all of these talking points have switched from freedom, you being free, to safety. We want to keep you safe. We can't allow disinformation on the internet. It's not safe for people. Why? Why can't you allow us to speak freely? What, you think we're stupid? No, it's not safe. No, we can't allow you to travel from this place to that place, a couple years ago. And I still think there are some countries who won't allow you to travel unless you, because it's not safe. It's not safe. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a second. We have to start a central banking currency, something that we control, because all of this other stuff, the dollar, Bitcoin, it's not safe. And I wanted to repost that because I was listening to him speak, and I was like, yo, I've been paying attention to the same thing. Like, they've switched from freedom to safety. Oh, it's more about being safe. We got to keep you safe. We want your safety. No, they want more power and control. They want more power and control. That's all it is. But as always, make sure you guys share this video. I'm sure there's a lot of people who need to hear this. The Andrew Tate statement that I just mentioned. And make sure you're following me on Twitter. You can literally retweet that tweet on my Twitter account that I reposted, because I feel like that's a very important message that needs to be out there, amongst people, and people really need to hear that, because it's the truth. And if they aren't aware of it, they'll fall right on into it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people I know there are a lot of people who bought into the safety line, hook, line, and sinker. Oh, they're going to keep us safe. They're going to keep us safe. When in reality, we were much safer when we had, open use of the internet, when we had free speech, when we had somebody like Uncle Trump who wasn't bought and paid for by the establishment. It's kind of ironic that the establishment, or this whole narrative, kind of switched big time after him. It's because they felt and knew that they were really losing grasp on what was going on. Someone who wasn't bought and paid for got put in a position of power. And they can't have that. But we'll put him there. We'll put him there again. I'm confident in that. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Peace and love. I'm out.